Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with another quick video about speculation. I don't do a lot of the rogue markets anymore just because, again, they are my least viewed videos and usually take the longest to actually do. And it just seems to be just a little niche within a niche. So what I'm saying is about 10-15% of my viewers actually appreciate them. And as I called myself Rogue Deck Builder, not Speculation Deck Builder or something, or Rogue Speculator, I thought I'd like make the YouTube more pure towards actual rogue decks rather than veering off into a million different venues. That's why you don't see me drafting as much on Rogue Deck Builder either. I mean, I might reinstate those if I get enough demand for it, but for now I'm going to continue to try to keep it as pure as possible to rogue decking. So, anywho, I do want to address Inkmoth Nexus. I do want to address the runaway speculation and why I don't think the Inkmoth Nexus is a very good target right now, especially you've already missed the mark. Right here would have been at the $11. Actually, about the $9 at Fate Reforged would have been the time to pick up. I have talked about Inkmoth Nexus a ton in the past. I picked them up around, what did I pick them up to, like $4 a piece? I sold out a lot of them at $10. And I just recently had some up that sold for about $13 a piece before the spike. They sold around here before the massive spike. And I'm actually okay with that because that was it was a 2.5 times profit when I was picking them up. And it did take a while. It did take over 2 years for it to increase in that area. So let's talk about why Inkmoth Nexus is spiking right now. Currently, we haven't seen one Infect card. Not one. And Blinkmoth Nexus was spoiled, and the land slots are already starting to fill up. We have a couple Eldrazi lands. We have all of the Keru lands from the bounce lands from Ravnica, City of Guilds, and I don't know if someone's actually done the math. We could, because now that we've seen the Keru, they might have actually said, okay, Inkmoth can't exist with the numbers of the cards, because you can look at the number of the card, and if they have like say an H and a J card, for example, in a land, then an I can't go in between that. So I think they've mathematically figured the Inkmoth Nexus cannot be printed. Plus, we're not seeing the plethora of other cards that should be included if they wanted to support Infect in Modern Masters. Now, a lot of people did not want it in Modern Masters, and I kind of agree with them. A lot of people hated Infect in Limited, because it was kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. If you didn't hate out the Infect cards, your opponent got this, one of your guys on your table got this amazing Infect deck. But if more than 2 people are actually going Infect, there a lot of times wasn't enough to support it, and you were stuck with this kind of mediocre deck that wanted to kill with damage and kill with Infect. And so sometimes, like, I remember playing Infect decks, and I'd have my opponent like 10 life and 5 Infect, and you know, it's just like halfway there both ways. And anywho, that was the scenario with Mirrodin Besieged, especially back in the Infect. It got a little bit better when sorry, my dog is attacking my microphone right now. Stop it. Get away. So it got a little bit better when the last new Phyrexia came out, but it still was pretty terrible of a limited strategy. And I think they want to avoid that in Modern Masters. Now, so as everyone just goes crazy that Inkmoth Nexus isn't being... This is what's going to happen in the next few weeks. When we're finally get a full list of Modern Masters, all the cards that were not printed in Modern Masters 2 are going to skyrocket like crazy. And it's going to be unjustifiable skyrocketing. What's going to happen is they're going to go back down. So you see like Runaway. This was a buyout, and then it went back to what it should have been. Actually, no, this is when it was in Standard. Here's a buyout right here. So it goes crazy right here with, I think Affinity's making, this was the Pro Tour, and it made second, I believe. I'm not quite sure. I think the Shatterstorm took it over in the finals. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And then, so it spiked up from $7 to $12, and then it continues to go down, 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 until it actually finally hits what its normal curve, what its normal increase would have been. And we're going to see the exact same thing. So we've got this normal increase, and then this buyout, and then it's going to go down, 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 down to eventually hit where it should be. So right now you've missed the mark for Inkmoth Nexus. And second of all, I'm going to go out and say it. They're going to have, even though their last event deck was pretty bad, with the black-white tokens. And finally, like a lot of the cards out of black-white tokens have finally made the deck worth it, but now they're being reprinted in Modern Masters 2. So that event deck is never really got its value. Like if you spent the $75 on that event deck, the black-white tokens event deck, you could have easily, anytime throughout the history of that deck, bought the singles that you're going to be using for that deck for cheaper than actually spending for this, or actually just use your $75 better than buying that event deck. And right when it's starting to recover, now they're going to print Modern Masters 2. Well, I think they're going to actually look at a deck that sees a lot of play and isn't that expensive as far as rare slots, and they're going to package it together and make another event deck or some sort of alternate product, because they need to address the growing value of Inkmoth Nexus eventually. Like this is a key card in both the infect and affinity strategies, and I'd be very, 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 very surprised if some sort of affinity, which I don't think is going to be it because there's plenty of affinity cards in Modern Masters 2s, or infect is not the Modern Masters 2 product for the quote-unquote event deck. And it'd be a perfect one to put 4 Inkmoth Nexus. We saw 4 Windbrisk Heights in the last one, so they could easily put 4 Inkmoth Nexus in that slot and do either a black-green infect or a black-blue, which is actually what I think they should do. A black-blue infect deck for the Modern Masters event deck. And then just that's exactly how they address the reprint of Inkmoth Nexus without screwing up the limited format by putting infect in it. And yeah, so I don't think you should get into Inkmoth. In fact, if you have Inkmoth Nexuses, sell, 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 sell. In fact, the $19 isn't the price right now. We have, I would say, about $24 because you have a total of 7 copies right now on TCG that are under the $20 mark, and then there's 3 here by this Space Rocket Games at $25. So I'm going to say about $22.99, $23.99 will probably sell. So if you have Inkmoth Nexuses, get out of them right now. Get out of them. They were in an event deck back in the day. They were, in a heavily printed set still. I mean, that set's not too old. And they are laser focused. They are very, 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 very easily reprinted, again, in a theme deck of either affinity or infect. So if you want to make your profit, get out of them. And when was the last one? The last Modern Masters event deck printed? I can't even remember. Maybe it will be another year before it will print out. But again, I think that after this initial spike, we're just going to see this start going back down to the real demand, which is around $14 right now for Inkmoth Nexus. And then it will slowly crawl up from there after this whole buyout happens. Anyway, we will continue to talk about Modern Masters, what effect it will have. From the information I have, it's going to be a very small print. I have some information about the amount of product, and it's going to be the initial release of Modern Masters 2 is going to be about 1.5 times the size of Modern Masters, but we don't know if there's going to be additional printing of the set. And right now what I've heard, the rumor mill, is that there will not be. So it's just going to be the initial larger release of Modern Masters 2, which will be all we're going to get. But if it's probable, I think Wizards will print some more. And if not, though, it's actually going to be smaller than Modern Masters 1 if we only get that original print. Because there was 3 printings of Modern Masters 1. There was a large and 2 small prints. But I think they'll continue to address that. And so far, the large print of Modern Masters 2 has been confirmed to be larger than the last Modern Masters. So I do think, though, that it's going to kill. It's already killing the price of like Dark Confidant. I don't know why Dark Confidant hasn't gone down. Let's just check that price right now. Dark Confidant was so $46 for Modern Masters 2 is what it's pre-selling at. But it's continued just to plummet for quite a while. It hasn't seen a deck for a long time. Like Jund doesn't want it, Junk doesn't want it. I mean, there's some decks that play every now and again, a couple of them. I've seen some Esper Mentors even throw it in and then use it with like timely reinforcements to try to get some life back or some other ways to get life. It's of course okay with Siege Rhino. Siege Rhino only nets down to damage if you find it with Dark Confidant and a few other ways to do it. So Bob is completely plummeted. At one point was like, yeah, a $90 card, and it's now down to a $65 card. And I think people were just being stubborn. I mean, it should have fallen way lower when it wasn't seeing any play in Modern, especially when like Forked Bolt was reigning supreme, Forked Bolt and Treasure Cruise. But this is gonna happen to all the ones that have been now double reprinted, and especially cards that haven't seen a lot of play. We're starting to see a ton of filler cards in Modern Masters too, so go and check those. A lot of what I mean by filler is they might actually have some high value, but like Nobilis of War, for example. Let's just check that card. This is, and it's been in dual decks. Not this one particularly, but I think they spoiled all of them. What's the Merc Dweller, Merc Fiend Liege? Is this the expensive one? There's one expensive one that, oh, well, I'll have to figure it out. Which is the expensive one that, if this gets reprinted in Modern Masters 2, its only demand has been from casual, and then it's going to plummet because it doesn't see any competitive play. And these sorts of sets completely decimate the prices of casual cards, as we even saw with like Doubling Season. Other than Doubling Season has completely recovered from the Modern Masters, but when it did come out, this guy completely dropped in value. So we have, before Modern Masters, it was like a $30 card, and it halved in value, and now it's back up because this is one of the most heavily played casual favorite cards. It's a 4 of in so many Squirrel decks, and it's a 1 of in a ton of Green Commander decks, etc., etc., etc. So be on the lookout for that. Again, just a synopsis video. I think this is a terrible time for Inkmoth Nexus. I think it's going to be reprinted sometime in some sort of event deck, and beware, get out of them. If you can sell them for $20, sell them. I'm going to put up every copy I have left, including the ones that are in a deck right now, up on TCG or eBay, and get as much value out of them as possible. This has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.